Today, I want to talk about leverage. So, leverage is a very popular topic, especially in real estate. That's why people love real estate, is that you can put 5, 10% down on a house. And if the property goes up by like 5 or 10%, then you basically just doubled your return on investment, right? But if you leverage more in real estate, obviously your monthly loan payments can be higher. You're going to have a bigger, monthly service or debt service obligation. And it could it's a double-edged sword, right? If leverage is used correctly, it can help build a massive real estate portfolio, right? Like, I'm living proof of that. But at the same time, if you over leverage and you have too much debt and too much leverage, it can also wipe you out, right? It's just like, imagine building a Jenga tower where instead of having a good foundation, it's built on like just one little piece at a time that stacks up, and it's easy to fall over during a bad time, right? So I would say leverage is kind of a balance. So let me share my kind of journey with leverage and my mindsets on it now after investing in real estate for about 6 years. So, obviously, when I first bought my real estate and scaled my real estate portfolio 90 units, I was heavily leveraged, right? Like, my first single family home, I bought that with 10% down to house hack. Second single family home, I bought 10% down to house hack. My third single family home, 10% down to house hack. As you can see, I'm more leveraged, right? I'm doing 90% LTV loan, right? So 90% is from the lender and 10% is from me. And all my properties made like $500,000 of appreciation, and then once they went up, I did another cash out refinance, put out even more money. So some of my single family homes, I have no money in the deal, and I actually pulled out additional money. So that's the definition of leverage, right? And pulling out that money using cash out refinance, I bought my 2 apartment complexes. So I bought my first 26 unit for 25% down, but I was able to negotiate about 10% in seller repair credit. So realistically, I only put about 15% down. My 20 unit, I put 20% down, which but included 100,000 renovation. So realistically, it was about maybe 12% down. And then my mobile home park, I put 10% down. So, and I used the money that I pulled from my single family homes. So I was pretty leveraged, right? In that aspect. So when I was scaling, I got into a highly leveraged position, right? I was basically pulling money out of my properties to go buy additional properties. I was using lines of credits that I had through my stock portfolio and through other real estate to buy more real estate. So I got in a heavily leveraged position. And then I started to get a little bit more concerned and stressed, right? Like, I was always a huge advocate, leverage, leverage, leverage. But I would say in the season of growth, I think leverage is great. That's how you get started. But once you're established, like what I am now, like I have 50 units, at that point, you got to start really looking at the equity you have and what's your overall equity versus debt position, right? So are you 50% equity, 50% debt? Are you 70% debt, 30% equity? Are you, 80% debt, 20% equity? You gotta assess your portfolio, and property values change, right? So you have to constantly reflect, assess it. And I love using, personal capita, which is now Empower. So I can see, like, okay, how much equity do I have in these deals? And constantly looking at that, right? So for me, I think I'm at like 9 million in assets owned, and then maybe about 5 million in debt. So about 4 million equity. So I'm roughly, what is that? A little bit, about 50%, I'd say, is where I'm at, because I forced a lot of appreciation, and I haven't done a cash out refinances yet. But you have to constantly look at your portfolio, which is, I call it portfolio architecture, right? So, like, okay, you have to, like, after you've leveraged for a while, you gotta pause, which I'm doing right now, assess your portfolio, and look at your equity position versus your debt position, and then look at it. Okay, am I comfortable with this? Right? Like, you don't always want to be leveraging, leverage. Like, obviously, I can leverage and buy even more real estate, right? I could probably get to 100 units if I leveraged even more. But would that make me happier? Probably not. I'd be more stressed. Would it make my life easier? Probably not. It'd be more complicated. And does it make sense right now for me? And the answer is no, because I'm trying to take a step back, take it a little bit easier, and buy my house, my single family home that I want to live in, and I'll be documenting my um, buying single family home journey, whether I buy a single family home or whether I just move to another apartment complex. I'm gonna be documenting that process just so you guys can know what it's like to, buy a single family home in Southern California and to rent an apartment in Southern California. So more videos on that soon. But, I've basically been reevaluating my leverage position and really being cognizant, because until I sold my mobile home park, I was heavily leveraged, right? Like, it was an uncomfortable amount of leverage, and I felt that, like, I could have been wiped out. So, or by wipe out, I mean, maybe I have to sell a single family home to then, just get more money to be able to support the, mobile home park a little bit longer, right? But then now that I sold it, I feel more comfortable now. I'm not as leveraged, but a lot of my money is trapped in that mobile home park as a second lien note or second lien position, which I'm going to be getting paid interest on, right? So it's not bad. Right now I'm getting, removing some leverage, building up my cash flow, building up my cash reserves, pausing to reevaluate what I want to do. What's my next move, right? Like, I'm pretty confident. Like, I'm in no rush. Like, I used to always feel in a rush to buy real estate, but now that I'm more experienced, I just know, like, if I'm dead set on sending out mailers, like direct mail, for 6 to 12 months, I will get a deal, right? Like, if I wanted to find a deal, and let's say I did a cash out refinance, have a bunch of money, the first thing I would do is I'd reach out to those owners that I previously sent letters to, and they reached out to me. I'd be like, hey, it's been a while, just finished stabilizing one of my apartment complexes and looking to buy more, and just wanted to touch base to see if you knew anybody that wanted to sell their apartment complex. And they might say, oh, I know somebody, I know Joe over here who wants to sell, or hey, I'm interested in selling. In that case, that's a free lead, right? Or I would go through those first, and then while doing that, I would send 300 letters a month again, right, to the same markets that, maybe in Oklahoma City area, and maybe nearby Enid, but Oklahoma City is a little bit nicer for demographic long term. So I'd probably do Oklahoma, Tulsa area, just hit that area with letters, and then respond to the owners. And whatever, if it takes me 6 months to find a good deal, so what? If it takes me 12 months, okay. If it takes me longer than 12 months, I know I'll find a good deal eventually, because I know my buy box, I know my buying criteria, I know how to renovate it. I have a good team there who's my extra set of eyes. I have a good general contractor there who's my set of eyes. I have lenders there and lending relationships who also serve as a third set of eyes. So I have a big team there, a big system there. So I could leverage their skills, their expertise, which is a positive leverage, right? To do that, and they can help me find a good deal. So that's why I know I'm confident. When I want to buy a deal, I can buy a deal. So it's okay to pause. You don't always need to be buying real estate, right? Like, I bought a lot of real estate. Now I'm pausing and reevaluating and self-reflecting. And that's when I'm getting a lot of clarity, right? But I know when I'm ready to buy, I know I can find a deal, like in 6 to 12 months, and I'll be documenting this process of me buying my next apartment complex this time. Last time I wasn't into, building a personal brand and social media, so I didn't document anything. I was just so focused on getting my first apartment. So for my third apartment complex, I will be documenting this journey, right? I'll document all my phone calls with buyers, with sellers, my conversation with lenders. I'll be documenting my physical due diligence, my inspections. I'll fly out to that unit to Oklahoma. I'm gonna record my 26 unit, my 20 unit, create content around that. I'm gonna record and document my inspection process. So I really want to bring you on that journey, so that you can leverage me, right? Leverage my skill, my knowledge, my expertise to learn, to expect your learning, right? So this is what I mean by leverage is a double-edged sword. If you leverage too much debt, it's great to scale a real estate portfolio, right? But when you want to stabilize a real estate portfolio, leverage may not be the greatest thing. Leverage is great in terms of leveraging other people's time, leveraging other people's knowledge, leveraging other people's skill set, right? Like, you can leverage my skill set to do that. You can leverage your property manager's skill set, your general contractor's skill set, right? So that's when leverage is positive. So, overall, I know I went a huge rant about leverage, but the key thing I want to get out of this is leverage is a double-edged sword. If you're leveraging to scale your real estate portfolio, that's fine, but I suggest that you pause when you're stabilized and reanalyze and reassess. Okay, what do I want to do next, right? Am I too over leveraged and I want to step back, or am I in a good leverage position, or am I not leveraged enough, right? So that's when you got to really take a step back and reflect, and that's when you get the most clarity. So hopefully you kind of gain some value from this video and learn about my mindset about leverage. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.